Good morning. Maybe.
Thanks.
First on the list is old business. Oh, when I was going through some old minutes, I found from a meeting in 2016 that the board at that time did approve Wendy to be the assistant director. We just had never formalized that. I don't know what you want to do with that, because I know that's been something we've discussed in the past.
We've got some, we're kind of in a rock and a hard place. The position, the grant position, is still up in the air because of the audit. We cannot get the audit returned.
Any idea how long?
Jeez,
Who knows?
we're all getting kind of frustrated with it. And we realize it appears we're dragging our feet, but we're really not, because
No, and I'm not.
we don't know yet.
And I'm not pushing the issue, other than
Yeah.
I found that, and I'm like, just to
It
let
was
you
that
know.
But let me ask you this, Reed, and I'm sorry, Terry.
No, that's fine.
That was in 2016, and there's a new employee policy, handbook, job descriptions, et cetera.
Right.
That job description is not in there. So, I mean,
Right.
it seems to me that there just wasn't an official action to replace the assistant director position when that new policy was made, because that wasn't even taken into consideration. So effectively, it's been voided.
Okay. Even though there's a motion, you don't need to
Even
do
though there's a
anything
motion,
else.
because if you look at the timeline in regards
Okay.
to what has transpired, that was 2016. And then they went through this whole policy whereby there's a job description for every position, in addition to the employee handbook. And that handbook was approved, I think it was April of 2017, with all of the,
That sounds right, yeah.
yeah, April of 2017 with all of the job descriptions. And so if that job description is not in there, nor were there provisions made therefor,
Yeah,
would
it-
seem to me that they basically, in effect, rescinded. But if official action needs to be taken, the commissioners can make a motion to rescind the appointment or the creation of the assistant director, so that it is in compliance with what we have in place now, and move from here forward.
So, yeah, that's,
But before we can do that, we need a positive answer or a negative answer from the hospital.
I get it. And I'm just bringing that to your attention,
And
because it
that's fine.
surprised me too.
We're not,
I didn't think it was there.
and it's so hard for us
But-
to, I mean, we can go back and read through the minutes, and I think that's been done, and that nothing was found. I mean, whether it was done in the hall or an official open meeting, we don't know, because there's no official record of it.
Of that position?
No,
Oh, of something else?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing, I did bring the binder today. Do you guys have any questions about it?
I've looked through, and I pretty well can answer my own questions between
Okay.
looking it up online and the binder, so I'm
How about this? I'll quit asking. If you guys have a question, you ask me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, because even if we read all that, we'd forget it.
Well, I have too. That's why I bring it. I mean, there's just, you can't remember that whole thing.
Oh, yeah, but you know where to look, we don't.
That's true. I do know where to go. New business, statistics. Statistics look good, actually, for June. I think I hinted about that last time. But we got quite a bit of dollars in. We billed out $14,000. We received $36,000. And insurance adjusted $21,000. So that's about a $50,000 difference in AR right there. We still have $65,000 in collections. It's down a little bit, but not significantly. Payment plan, $7,800. Transfer loss, there was 3 transfers that probably all went to Goodland, I'm guessing. Expenses were down a little bit, $18,000. We had a positive expense percent, which it just means we brought in more than we expended that month. It really doesn't hold much value. Current staff, we spent $8,900 in personnel expense. And we've got another $54,000 out there pending insurance, and another about $18,000 waiting on the patients. So historically, what'll happen there, either they'll pay that down, or in 90 days it'll go to collections. So usually you see a little bit of that moving every month.
Give me an idea how long collections, or this process takes. Let's say I use your services, when can I expect a bill?
It's all variable. If it's auto insurance, an auto claim, sometimes those can take a long time. We send out what's called a statement of charges, and that basically says, here are the fees associated with your trip. You don't own anything because we submitted that to insurance, but it's just to let you know that we sent your stuff in, this is the dollar amount. And
Yeah, it always says right on the front, like, this is not a bill.
yeah, this is not a bill.
Okay.
After that, 3 months, probably on some of the Medicare stuff.
We've had a couple people step in and say, hey, I had this services months ago and I'm just now getting a bill. And I really don't know what to say to them because I don't know what the process is or how it...
Send them to me and I'd sit down with them and go over everything from start to finish and explain it to them. Because sometimes there's hiccups and sometimes there's not, and things go good.
Okay. So it's really an individual, there's no solid answer to it. It's an individual basis.
No.
Based on insurance companies and differences and
No.
payments and that kind of stuff.
No, there's no...
No rhyme or reason to it.
There's most insurance companies are a year out. That's what they require you to submit to them within a year.
So
Some of them are longer, but
basically, we're
generally
getting our
a year.
submittals in all right. The problem is, or the lag times with
So,
the
like-
insurance company?
Our submittals, why we had that big coming in June, was that hold in January, February, March. So that Medicare, so we billed those out. It looks like billed $25,000 in May. So April and May probably came in together in June, it looks like, for me.
Okay.
Now, I can't say all those were Medicare, but a good chunk of them are going to be Medicare. That's usually what we go with.
Well,
Now, I know in the past, the previous director had signed some contracts with some insurance companies that basically will create a fast return, but you lower your amount that you're going to get for that. So they guarantee you money within 30 days.
and I don't,
All those I have not renewed.
and I don't think that's necessary for right now. I guess my basic question was, we have had some people approach us and are just concerned about the lag time between services and billing. From the time they had their service, from the time they get their bill, to them seems to be an extended period of time. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything about the process you have. So from now on, I'm just going to send them right over.
Yeah, or if you have specifics and you want me to get back with you on like a certain one, we could go into executive session and I could bring that story back, I guess.
Okay.
Because I would have all the,
Well,
I could go back and get all the date times of when things happened.
And you're not unique here. My wife has some medical bills from last year that we're just now getting also, so.
Yeah, it's kind of the way the industry goes. I mean, to have a bill that doesn't show up for a year, unfortunately, I've been the recipient of those too. You even forget what it's for then.
It's aggravating.
But
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. Call volume for June was low. Total runs was only 17. It's the lowest so far this year, which really doesn't mean a whole lot. I don't see that there's a trend here developing. It's summertime. And then operations, we're still within our 5-minute response time. We were at 3 minutes and 28 seconds.
That's good.
It took us an average of 9 minutes overall to get to people. Any questions about statistics? I did want to touch real quick on July 1st. July 1st, I got a phone call. The hospital went on diversion. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but basically what happened is, I don't want to speak for them, but I think they had a provider issue and weren't able to receive any of our ambulance calls. We had to divert to other facilities. And basically what I have to say about that is I was really impressed of the team because we had 4 ambulances ready to take patients outside of the area, which is phenomenal when you figure you have to have 2 on each ambulance. Now, granted, that only lasted for a day and a half,
Right.
but it was a weekend, and I was impressed that it seemed like people came out of the woodwork and stepped up and said, I'll either do the transfer to Goodland or Ray or, so. From an EMS standpoint, we've never dealt with anything like that. It was a little challenging, but we were ready. So
It's good practice.
yeah, it is good practice, and there probably will be a policy or something come out of it.
But you didn't receive any calls during that time?
No, no,
That's even better.
nope.
And
Not a one.
Was there great communication between the hospital and you that this had
Yeah.
taken
Yeah,
place?
yeah. They called me at 3 o'clock in the morning, told me what was going on. We had a plan within the hour, and then we formalized that plan, I think, within 4 or 5 hours. So,
Good.
and then I called all the hospitals around to make sure that we're all on the same page, and they also did. And so, it went good. The last thing I got, I think it's the last thing, billing policy review. This is page 1 of our billing policy, and I've highlighted some numbers at the bottom. I was looking through, it's been about 4 years since we went over our fees for the ambulance service. So what I did is the highlighted numbers down there on the bottom, those are the average, what is being charged in Kansas. The number in parentheses is the number of services that reported. Obviously, like that first one, there's more than 65 ambulance services in the state, but this is who reported. That's the closest number I would have to like averages of what the rest of the state are doing.
And the number to the left is our
What we
charges.
actually charge today, yeah. And back in 14 is when we came up with those numbers, and we increased some to come up with those numbers. So really, when I look at this, ALS 1 emergent, ALS 2 is probably the 2 that it looks like there's the biggest difference. ALS 2 calls, to be honest with you, we won't have more than a half a dozen of those a year. Those are a really high level of care. And obviously that's the lowest number of reported because there's a lot of ambulance services that don't even provide that level of service. On ALS 1 emergent, that would be like all of our ALS 911 calls. So there will be quite a few there. I would recommend if there was any adjustment you'd like to make, it would probably be just in that one,
Which one again?
the first one. Knowing that the majority of our calls are Medicare, we are signed, contracted, provided with Medicare, they're going to pay us whatever that contract says no matter what we bill them. It's just more write-off if we would increase it. Same thing with Medicaid and same thing with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Those are the 3 that we have contracts with. So they're going to pay us their set fee regardless of what our rate is. Auto insurance, other private insurance, and then private pay accounts would probably be the ones affected by a rate change the most.
Well, I'm not opposed to keeping up with the times, so to say, or inflation. We need to,
Your cost over the last 4 years
yeah,
has gone up quite a bit.
I would be in favor of raising,
And most of that cost is due to that first line,
right.
because that's the medications
That's the one you
and,
use the
yep,
most.
yep. So I would, for me and my calculator, I think maybe 700, a nice round number, or if you wanted to go 650, but please don't do 690, 616.
Well, we can adjust this at any time.
Yes,
correct?
at any time.
I kind of like that 650 number. It's kind of halfway in between.
There you go.
It gives us a start. We can see how, reevaluate in 6 months and see how it's working.
Works for me.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
Well, that probably
that.
should.
I so move.
Okay, we have a motion to raise the basic ALS1 emergent fee from $600 to $650. Do you second?
Yeah,
All those in favor? Aye.
aye.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
I knew it. I can see you over there.
Forgot about that.
Effective today. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, we'll try that and see.
Okay.
Sure, again, we have had some inflation, so.
Yeah. And that's all I had, if you don't have any questions for me.
I think we're good for right now, Reed, and be patient with us, with Wendy's position and
Oh, that's fine.
everything else. Well, sure, we'll have more discussions about it soon.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
We're making it work.
All right, good.
I am out on vacation next week. All of next week.
Okay,
So just a heads up that you're probably gonna see a shift bid.
okay, well,
Well, if you're going to the lake, leave your phone at home.
Especially if I'm going to Missouri. Actually, since I don't have an assistant director, I don't have a backup. And the state requires that I be on call.
so basically,
I'm
you're
gonna have to
you're
take
gonna
my
have to
phone.
take your phone to
How about,
coordinate.
let's put it in a waterproof case,
Yeah.
which I bought already, and affix it to my neck.
Life-proof makes good cases out of
Yeah, or something that floats.
Ziploc bags.
Yep, I've got one already. We're good.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, do we have any other matters we need to talk about? Reed?
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Executive?
10 minutes?
It's up to you guys.
Make a request for 5 minutes of executive session for non-elected personnel. Second, all those in favor? Aye.
I assume you want me in it.
I think so.
Okay.